Good morning. This is the lesson recording for online lesson number 6. Again, should be the week of 420 to 424. As we start to solve, there's going to be 4 different sets of directions that are going to be given. It's really important you pay attention to the rules. Remember, all in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking about our Starbucks example. If you're looking for the value of the principal root, that's kind of like our Bothell Starbucks. We're looking for one particular answer. Very small domain. If you're looking for values between 0 and 2 pi, that's like looking a little bit bigger domain. We're spreading it out a little bit. Maybe that's all the Starbucks in Washington. That same thing if we ask all values between 0 and 360. Now we're just looking at the degree measure instead of our radian measure, but in the same region, one circle, one revolution. And then if we want all real values, now we're looking at worldwide. That's when we're going to add that ending. That's going to give us those infinite solutions. So we add in the pi k, 2 pi k, or pi k, or something along those lines to our end to make sure it works for all real values. So let's start with a nice simple solving question. For this one I have 2 sine theta equals -1. We're going to do the algebra and then we're going to change our answer so that it represents the appropriate value. We start with 2 sine theta equals -1. We need to isolate the sine, so we're going to start by dividing both sides by 2. Next, we're going to try and isolate theta. Remember, the way to get rid of that sine is by taking the inverse. So we're going to take the inverse sine of the 1/2. Now, if we want to find the principal root, our principal root domain is between -pi/2 and +pi/2, so we're looking at quadrant 1 and quadrant 4 for our answer. Let's remember that sine is a y value, so we're going to find a y value that's equal to -1/2 in either quadrant 1 or 4. The answer then would be theta equals -pi/6. That's where our y value is -1/2. If I change my domain and look between 0 and 2 pi, now I can have up to 2 solutions. So I'm going to look on the unit circle for where the y value is equal to -1/2, and now my answer changes to 7 pi/6 in quadrant 3 and 11 pi/6 again from quadrant 4. If my directions change one more time and want to know all real numbers, now I'm going to take my previous answer but add in all real numbers. So I'm going to take 7 pi/6 and then add that ending of 2 pi k. Then I'm going to have the second answer of 11 pi/6 and again add that ending of 2 pi k. Let's look at a similar question that's just one step harder. Root 3 tangent x -1 equals 0. Let's start by algebraically trying to isolate that tangent, so we're going to move the 1 to the other side. Then divide both sides by root 3. Now here we know that our values that are on the unit circle are rationalized, so we want to go ahead and we can rationalize at this point. And just to save a step, as I'm rationalizing, I'm also going to isolate the x by taking inverse tangent of both sides. As we look on the unit circle, let's remember that tangent of theta is going to be y/x. So I'm going to look for where is y/x, root 3/3. If I'm looking for the principal root, again the principal root for tangent is from -pi/2 to +pi/2. So the principal root for tangent would be pi/6. If I want to know all real roots, now I'm going to have all real values between 0 and 2 pi, so my answer is going to change to pi/6, and look on the other half of the spike, 7 pi/6. If you change it to all real values, now we're just going to have that first answer plus pi k, because those are on the same spike. They're exactly 180 degrees apart. Let's look at another example, for this one I have 2 cosine root 2 equals 0. Start by moving that root 2 to the other side. And dividing both sides by 2 to isolate the cosine. Then isolate the theta by taking inverse cosine of both sides. Now we're going to look on the unit circle. Your principal root for cosine is 0 to pi, so you're looking at quadrant 1 and 2. So we're looking for an x value that's root 2 over 2, and that happens at 3 pi over 4. We want to find the second place where theta equals root 2 over 2. Now we're looking at 1 full revolution on the circle. So we have our first answer of 3 pi over 4. And then the second place that's equal to negative root 2 over 2 is 5 pi over 4. If I want to change that domain to all real values, I have the first answer plus 2 pi k. And then the second answer plus 2 pi k. For this question, we're going just a little bit harder. I have tangent squared x minus 1 equals 0. We have a couple options for this. I think probably the first option that you guys will think about is to solve algebraically. So we're going to move the 1 to the other side. Here we need to get rid of this square, so we're going to take the square root of both sides. Remember that if you take the square root, you got to add the plus and the minus. Then we want to isolate the x. So really what we're doing is taking inverse tangent of plus and minus 1. This is going to give us a couple more solutions. The other way you can think about this question is when it was already equal to 0. You can factor. This would be tangent of x minus 1 and tangent x plus 1 equals 0. And then you have each of these factors independently that you can solve for x. Either way, we get to the same spot where we're looking for plus and minus 1. Since we have more than one answer, it's not going to be directions about asking your principal root. So the first time we want to look at these directions is if I ask between 0 and 2 pi. So if I'm solving for x, and I want to know where x is equal to plus and minus 1, that's going to happen at the 45-degree one. So that's going to happen at pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. Now we need to look at our unit circle, I think, in order to help us figure out what that's going to look like for all real values. So now that I've looked at the unit circle, I can answer this question a little bit differently than before. We're going to have our first answer plus pi over 2k, because each of our values are exactly 90 degrees apart on the unit circle. So here's our unit circle. We'll come back to that previous page. Again, our answers were pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. We can see these two are on the same spike, and these two are on the same spike. We can also see that each of these values are exactly 90 degrees apart. So then our end changes, and I'm going to go back to that previous slide. This question looks a little bit more intimidating. Again, this time I've changed the directions to say all real values between 0 and 360. So I'm still looking at 1 revolution, but now I've changed my units to make sure my answer is in terms of degrees. This question might look a little bit difficult, but what if I take it and turn it into something I already know how to do? What if I say that x equals cosine theta? then really this is just 3x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. And that's a quadratic that we've factored a million times. So let's break this down. We need to multiply to 3x squared, so that's 3x and x. We need to multiply to 2 and add to 1. Going to adjust the signs, and here's our factor. Now that we have that completely factored, let's remember that we substituted out cosine. So really what we have is 3 cosine theta minus 2 and cosine theta plus 1 equals 0. So by substitution, we were able to substitute this down, making it into something that looks more comfortable to us. Remember, when we're factoring to solve, we set each factor independently equal to 0 and solve for x. So for the first side, we're going to move the 2 to the other side. We're going to divide by 3. And then we're going to take inverse cosine of our values. Now, 2/3 is not going to show up anywhere on your unit circle, so this is going to be the first time where we have to make sure we use our calculator. In order to do this, make sure your calculator is in degrees, not radians, and take the inverse cosine of 2/3. You should get an answer of 48.2 degrees. I would strongly encourage you guys to double check that. On the second half, we're going to set this factor independently equal to 0. Move the 1 to the other side, so it makes it negative 1. Take the inverse cosine. That point is a point on the unit circle. Again, remember that cosine is an x value, so we're looking for an x value of negative 1, and that gives us an answer of 180 degrees. So we get 2 solutions for this question. One of them was on the unit circle, one was not. Again, we use substitution to be able to solve. Here's another question that we're going to go through. It has about the same level of difficulty. So we have 8 tangent of x plus 7 root 3 equals negative root 3. Again, for this one, we're going to try and solve algebraically. So I'm going to start by moving the 7 root 3 from the left to the right. Remember, this is negative 1 root 3 on that side. So as I move that 7 to the other side, it becomes negative 8 root 3. From here, we're going to isolate the tangent. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. Those 8s cancel out, just leave you with a root 3. And then we're going to solve for x by taking inverse tangent of negative root 3. For this one, it did only give me one answer, so I can find the principal root. So I want to find the place in the unit circle. Again, remember that your principal root for tangent is going to be between negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2. So I want to find the value that would allow y over x to be negative root 3. That's going to happen at negative pi over 3. If I want all values between 0 and 2 pi, now my answer is going to change. The first place that's equal to negative root 3 is in quadrant 2, and that's going to be at 2 pi over 3. And then the second place, again, is in that same spot as before, just the positive time around this time, so we get 5 pi over 3. Those are exactly 180 degrees apart, so I can answer this question as 2 pi over 3 plus pi k. Again, look at that ending. They're exactly symmetric. They're on the same spike, and therefore it's going to give me all real values. Okay, so for this question, again, each question is just getting progressively harder. We have 6 cosine 2x. This is going to change a little bit because now inside of the parentheses we do have a 2x. The first part is going to be the same. The second part is going to be different. So I have 6 cosine 2x equals negative 3. Again, my goal is to isolate this cosine so I can take the inverse. I'm going to start by dividing both sides by 6. Isolate that 2x by taking inverse cosine of both sides. This time you have inverse cosine of negative 1/2, but again, it equals 2x. So as we look at this, because we're going to have multiple answers, it's not going to ask you the principal root, and it's not going to ask you all roots between 0 and 2 pi. So the only time we have to answer this type of question is when the directions are going to say all real values. So let's find the two places on our unit circle that inverse cosine of negative 1/2 occurs, and that's going to happen at 2 pi over 3. And the second place our x value is negative 1/2 is in quadrant 3. But one last change, one last thing we have to do. That's what 2x equals. So if I want to figure out what x equals, I have to divide everything by 2. So now my answer for all real numbers is actually pi over 3 plus pi k and 2 pi over 3 plus pi k. That's what happens when I divide both of those values by 2. When you think about this 2, that's increasing the multiplicity, so your answers are going to be twice as close as they used to be. For our last example today, we're going to look at kind of a difficult question. Again, when we think about this, we want to think about what have we done that looks similar to this so that we're not quite as intimidated by this question. When I looked at this kind of up front, I saw that there were 4 terms, and I know how to factor when there's 4 terms. I use regrouping. So with regrouping, I divide the problem in half. I find the greatest common factor of the first half. Then I find the greatest common factor of the second half. Hopefully my leftovers, what's left in those parentheses after I distributed out the greatest common factor, will match. That makes one factor. Then I move my coefficients together for my second factor. Okay, so as we finish up this question, now that it's completely factored, we have to set each factor independently equal to 0. Let's remember that cotangent x minus 1 equals 0. We're going to add 1 to both sides. Remember that cotangent is not on the unit circle, so we're going to take its reciprocal, not its inverse. The reciprocal of cotangent is tangent. Thankfully, the reciprocal of 1 is 1. So now we're going to take inverse tangent of 1, and we're going to look on the unit circle to see where is our inverse tangent equal to 1. Again, this would be the y over the x. That's going to happen in quadrant 1. And it's going to happen in quadrant 3, so those are 180 degrees apart. So our first answer is pi over 4 plus pi k. For our second answer, again, we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to start by setting the factor equal to 0. Move the 2 to the other side. Cosecant is not on our unit circle, so we're going to have to take its reciprocal. The reciprocal of cosecant is sine, and the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Now we're going to take the inverse of sine so that we can isolate our x. Now we're going to find where our y value equals pi, or 1/2. So that's going to happen pi over 6. We want all real values, so we're going to add our 2 pi k. And the second place that y is equal to positive 1/2 is 5 pi over 6. We're going to add our 2 pi k. That concludes lesson 6. At this point, you guys should be doing the bookwork on Google Classroom. It is a worksheet. There's also going to be a puzzle. Go ahead and take a picture of your final product. There is no WAMAP assignment this week, so just a worksheet and a puzzle to work on.